Alright guys, I'm quickly jumping in here to working on a vinyl transparency for the beginning of my album. So what I'm cutting here is some vinyl 6 inches wide, and I don't remember I think maybe 7 inches tall, because it's going to be going on a 7 by 8¼ inch clear transparency piece from Graphics. So I'm not going to show you all the steps, but I'm just kind of quickly showing you what I did here, where I am attaching the vinyl to my sticky pad for my silhouette. Then I'm going to show you how it's just kind of very quickly making the actual design, and then I will show you a little bit about weeding and putting the design on my transparency. So I'm just using a little paper piercer here to help pull up the pieces so that it will be a negative. So what I'm removing will be what you see through. So I found a graphic for the state of Nevada online, and then I used some Ali Edwards digitals for the writing, and then the Eveleth font for the dates. So here I'm just cutting my transparency down to the 7 by 8¼ Sometimes I'll do 6 3/4 inch inserts or pages, but for 7 I like it to cover the full width of everything. So I'm just using my punch template there to create my holes, and then I'm using a magnetic mat from the very old basic gray, just so that I can hold it in place. And I've already weeded everything out and added my clear transfer tape so I can peel it down. I'm just trying to make sure that all the little pieces inside the letters will stick. Not all of them do, and there's a few that I just went ahead and gave up on, but I peeled that down. And one trick I will say when you're trying to do vinyl transparencies like this is you want to have a well-used piece of transfer sticker. Extra heavy does not work. You want, like, I've maybe used this 5 times already. You want to be able to position things around, and if it's too strong of an adhesive, it's really hard to remove from the plastic transparency background. So I'm just using some tools there to help me get everything laid out. And then pulling back the transfer tape. And a few pieces popped off there, like the center of the geotag, some of the insides of the letters. So I just used my paper piercer to help reattach them, use my tools to help push them back down. So here I'm grabbing a piece of paper from Reminisce that I decided to use as my background instead of using one of my photos, just because it had the whole skyline of Vegas and it had a cool photo on the back, which I originally thought I was going to cover up but decided to use in a clever way. So just doing some final attachments here, and then I'm going to show you what this looks like live in just a moment. Okay guys, so I'm working on my project here, and sometimes I feel like I really need a title page and my itinerary to really get a feel for the project and where I'm starting from. So what I did is I created this on my silhouette with vinyl. So this is on a clear transparent sheet here. I have the state of Nevada outline. These are some Ali Edwards handwritten digital artworks from a long time ago. So she had a US cities and a US states. I added the dates here with a little geotag showing where Las Vegas is. And then here I just used a piece of paper from Reminisce that I got off of scrapbook.com of the Vegas skyline here. I thought that would look pretty. And on the back is a photo of the Bellagio. And we did see the fountains of Bellagio, but this way I thought I could do something really neat here and create kind of a fun opening. And then on the back, I've worked on my itinerary. So I pulled out my notes that I had taken here, and I was able to do my itinerary. I had decided to try it on some vellum here so that I could use the other side of this paper instead of covering it. And one thing I do need to figure out is how to kind of attach it because it's loose. I could leave it loose, I suppose, but I'm not sure exactly what I want to do. And it printed slightly larger, which is fine because the lines are there, but I thought this would make a nice background. I wouldn't be able to print on here because it's so dark you wouldn't be able to read it, I don't think, and I didn't want to risk it since it was the only copy I had. But I took a digital art from Allie Edwards. That was from her Stories by the Month July 2017 kit, I believe. And I have this nice bold itinerary. And then I have a font here called Eveleth, which is not free. It's quite expensive. And then this is just an Arial font. And I use this for a lot of my itineraries that I've created over the years. I'll have to show some photos for you to see the different types. And what I'm considering is what I want to put along the side here. I did leave a little bit of room in case I decided to maybe put like some of these stamps here. That could be kind of fun. I could at least do 1, 2, 3, 4 here. The Vegas Baby Vegas might be a little big, and then these with the blocks are, but I have at least 4 icons here that I could use. But I'm looking through my stash to see if there's anything else I have that could potentially work. But yeah, I'm considering just getting this trimmed out, and then, like I said, deciding on a way to attach it. I did consider maybe a stitch line here because it might not show up too, you know, it would be dark, but I don't think it would really look bad if there was a stitch line. Or maybe trying to put some adhesive behind this large itinerary here, just so that it will stick and not free flow and look like it's backwards in the album when you flip the page. So that's kind of my goal there. So for now, all I'm going to do is trim it. And then we'll see where we end up. What I will do for now is trim on my cut lines that I printed it with. And then I will hold this up and trim it down so that it's more exact. I don't want to try to guess. And I'm going to try to trim just inside that stroke that I added so that it isn't showing up. And it won't matter if it's exact because I'm going to be trimming a little further from there. And you'll see I left room for my punching, and then room here, of course, for some sort of graphic or icon that I thought would be fun to add there. But so far, I'm pretty happy with the few steps that I've taken to make this album feel like, you know, me. I always like to do something different with each project, but there's certain things that I find really tie your albums together, and it feels like me. So yeah, I will hold this up and get it trimmed a little tighter, and then I will share with you once I decide what's going to go here. So I ended up going through my stash and finding these self-adhesive cork stars from my collection. I believe they're from Allie Edwards. I ended up going with the self-adhesive route, just one, for simplicity, but two, sometimes trying to get adhesive on cork can be, it can cause it to break down. So I thought this would be the simplest way, and then those little stars provided me with another opportunity to add some more double-sided sticky tape behind them to help keep this piece of vellum down. I'm pretty happy with how this came out. I think it's really adorable. It's a great way to use the pattern paper on both sides of this piece that I really hadn't anticipated doing. And something to keep in mind with a project like this, you can use your own photo. Maybe not one that's this dark, but you could print with a lighter color font, or you could create like a opacity, turn it down so it looks like vellum instead. But ended up coming to me after deciding to use the double-sided paper, and I'm really happy that I went with that route. So here I'm just beginning my title page and just kind of deciding which pieces of my ephemera I'm going to use here. I've got only my plane tickets, which are printed out, and I'm going to cut those out. And I have the bag of tags, and then these cards from Studio Calico and Echo Park from their stateside collection. So first thing I'm going to do is I had measured the size of the plane tickets. They were pretty much just over 6 inches, which was perfect. So I just cut them on the lines that were already there, and then I'm going to use my paper trimmer to trim them down to exactly 6 inches. And right now I'm just trying to lay out and make some decisions on which cards I would have used. With that photo from the wing of the plane. I always start our travel trips with a selfie on the plane. It's one of my favorite photos to take. Again, it's just something that provides a lot of consistency with your travel albums. So my title pages tend to be similar, my itineraries and my opening pages, but it's my style. I know what I'm comfortable with, and I really love it. So the rest of the albums always end up taking on a different kind of feel, and I'm always happy with that. So here I'm just kind of playing around with how I want to lay things out, but I'm going to end up taking a break here in a moment and doing some stamping on that Nevada card because I was having a little bit of trouble with indecision. So sometimes when I'm stuck and not sure where to go next, I'll jump back to something that I know I need to do before moving along, and that helps with my creativity and trying to make decisions. So I'm taking an older Kelly Perky stamp set and I'm selecting this word that says destination. And this is another trick that I've done on several intro pages. I've decided I'm going to do a second video showing you some of my travel intros just to give you some ideas. There I'm taking the Las Vegas from the Kelly Perky Vegas stamp set. And I decided to overlap it just slightly over the Nevada. I'm really happy with the way that came out. I'm using my VersaFine black stamping ink and my Tim Holtz stamper set there to help me get really precise stamping. I ended up inking and pressing down twice to get a dark stamp, and I will be continuing to show you how things look as we go along. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.